Have you ever wondered what a real-life epic battle looks like? I'm not talking about fantasy movies or history books. I'm talking about a war that's happening right now, all around us, often completely unnoticed. This is the world of ants, and today, we're diving deep into their incredible battles for survival. Ants might be small, but they are masters of warfare. They've been fighting for their colonies for over 100 million years, developing strategies and weapons that would make a military general proud. Their world is a constant struggle against a huge variety of enemies, from other ant colonies to specialized predators. Let's start with the most common conflict, ant-to-ant warfare. Resources like food, water, and territory are finite, and when two colonies want the same thing, war is often the only answer. These aren't just random skirmishes, they are organized, large-scale conflicts that can involve thousands, even millions, of individuals. Imagine two massive armies clashing. That's what happens when, for example, a colony of aggressive Argentine ants meets a colony of native fire ants. The Argentine ants are famous for forming supercolonies, vast networks that can stretch for miles. They use sheer numbers as their primary weapon, swarming their opponents in a relentless tide. They're like a living carpet of death, overwhelming everything in their path. Their goal isn't just to push the enemy back. It's total annihilation and conquest of the new territory. But other ants have different tactics. Let's take the army ants of the Amazon rainforest. They don't build permanent nests. Instead, they are perpetually on the move in massive raiding parties. When they march, the entire forest floor trembles. Their columns can be hundreds of feet long, a river of soldiers with powerful sickle-shaped jaws. Their prey isn't just other ants. It's anything that can't get out of their way. Scorpions, tarantulas, lizards, even small birds. They are the ultimate shock troops of the insect world. Now let's talk about specialized soldiers. Some ant species have developed distinct castes of soldiers with incredible physical adaptations for battle. Think of the trapjaw ants. Their mandibles are some of the fastest-moving appendages in the animal kingdom. They can snap shut at speeds over 140 miles per hour. This isn't just for catching prey. In a fight, they can use this explosive force to fling attackers away or even launch themselves into the air to escape danger. It's like having a built-in catapult for a jaw. Then, there are the turtle ants. Their soldiers have uniquely shaped shield-like heads. Their job is to act as living doors. They find a small entrance to their nest and literally plug the hole with their head. No intruder can get past this living barricade. It's a purely defensive strategy, but it's incredibly effective. But it's not just about brute force. Ants are also masters of chemical warfare. The Malaysian exploding ant has one of the most dramatic defense mechanisms you can imagine. When a battle is lost and it's surrounded by enemies, it can contract its abdominal muscles so forcefully that its body ruptures, spraying a sticky, toxic goo all over the nearby attackers. It's a final heroic act of self-sacrifice to protect the colony. This ultimate weapon immobilizes and poisons the enemy, giving its nestmates a chance to regroup or escape. Other species, like wood ants, can spray formic acid from their abdomens. They can aim this corrosive spray with surprising accuracy over several inches, blinding or repelling invaders. It's like having tiny, built-in squirt guns filled with acid. Entire colonies can coordinate their sprays to create a chemical cloud that drives back much larger foes. Ants' enemies aren't just other ants, though. A whole host of predators have evolved specifically to hunt them. The antlion is a classic example. Its larva is a patient and deadly hunter. It digs a conical pit in sandy soil and hides at the bottom, with only its powerful jaws exposed. When an unsuspecting ant stumbles over the edge, the loose sand gives way, and it slides down into the pit. If the ant tries to climb out, the antlion flicks sand at it, knocking it back down until it's within reach of those formidable jaws. It's a perfectly engineered trap. Spiders also pose a significant threat. Some, like the ant-mimic spider, use camouflage to get close. They look and even move like ants, allowing them to walk among their prey without raising suspicion until it's too late. Other spiders, like the bolus spider, use a different kind of trickery. It dangles a single strand of silk with a sticky globule at the end, which it swings to catch passing insects. Incredibly, this globule mimics the pheromones of a female moth to lure in its prey, but it will just as easily snatch an unlucky ant that wanders too close. And let's not forget the assassins from the sky. The phorid fly is an ant's worst nightmare. This tiny fly is a parasitoid, and it has a horrifyingly specific method of attack. It hovers over a line of ants, then dive bombs a single worker, using a needle-like ovipositor to inject an egg into its body, usually in the thorax. The ant seems fine at first and goes back to work. But inside, the fly larva hatches and migrates into the ant's head. There, it feeds on the ant's brain and tissues, slowly taking control. The ant becomes a zombie, wandering aimlessly away from the colony. Eventually, the larva consumes the entire contents of the ant's head, and just before it pupates, it releases an enzyme that dissolves the tissue connecting the ant's head to its body. The head falls off, and the fly pupates inside this gruesome capsule, later emerging as an adult to repeat the cycle. It's a chillingly effective form of biological warfare. But perhaps the most famous zombie maker is the Ophiocordyceps fungus. When a spore from this fungus lands on an ant, it infiltrates its body and nervous system. The fungus takes control of the ant's muscles, forcing it to leave its nest and climb a nearby plant. It compels the ant to climb to a specific height and orientation, usually on the underside of a leaf, where the temperature and humidity are perfect for the fungus to grow. Then, the ant is forced to bite down on the leaf vein in a death grip. The fungus then consumes the ant from the inside out and sprouts a long stalk from the back of the ant's head. This stalk releases more spores onto the unsuspecting ants below, continuing the terrifying cycle. Faced with such a vast array of threats, how do ants defend themselves? It all comes down to teamwork and communication. Ants use a complex language of chemical signals called pheromones. When a scout ant finds a food source, it leaves a pheromone trail for others to follow. But these trails can also be used to signal danger. A crushed ant releases an alarm pheromone, a chemical scream for help that instantly mobilizes nearby soldiers. They can tell from the chemical cocktail what kind of threat it is and how to respond. Their collective intelligence is astounding. When facing a large predator, weaver ants, for example, will work together. Dozens of them will swarm the intruder, biting and spraying acid in a coordinated attack. They can even form living chains with their bodies to pull leaves together to build their nests, demonstrating a level of cooperation that is truly remarkable. If their nest is flooded, fire ants will link their bodies together to form a living raft, with the queen and larvae protected in the center. Floating on the water until they find dry land, the world of ants is a testament to the power of cooperation, specialization, and evolution. These tiny creatures are locked in a perpetual arms race with their enemies, developing ever more sophisticated weapons, defenses, and strategies. Their battles fought in our gardens and forests are as dramatic and complex as any in human history. They are true warriors, fighting for the survival of their colonies against incredible odds. So the next time you see an ant, take a moment to appreciate the incredible world it belongs to. It might just be a soldier on its way to a battlefront, scout searching for enemy lines, or a veteran returning to a fortress defended by living doors and exploding soldiers. The epic story of life, death, and war is unfolding right at your feet. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into the world of ant warfare. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories from the natural world. Let me know in the comments which ant battle tactic you think is the coolest. See you next time.